Welcome to the live stream for Bring Your Own Keys to Dedicated. So you want to talk about your work? Thanks for that.
Sure. So we managed to unblock the issue with EKS. It was a really small YAM policy fix. So we have I added the support for backup and S3 to the mix, and the first POC of fully BYOK instance is deployed. So we have a running instance that completely uses the customer keys. So we cracked it and the part of instrumentor, and we can go ahead. So I changed the status of the MR from just a POC to the implementation and opened it up for review. And I will discuss that in more detail later. As for the documentation, just found out that we already have BYOK in the documentation, the landing page of GitLab dedicated, but we actually don't support it, and it is still in alpha stage. So Joshua created another MR to expand the to explain that this is an alpha version, experimental feature of dedicated.
Great.
Yeah, it's down in D if you want to take a quick look. So.
Awesome, we'll do.
So that's the customer-facing part. For the documentation, we have we have a bit of a discussion with Joshua, and I also contacted dedicated team. The general issue here is that dedicated doesn't have a public-facing documentation page, so it's been included in their in the private repositories, internal repositories, and I think Joshua can expand on that because he has an open issue for this. But the documentation for this particular feature, for now, with the current state, will end up in, I know it's less than ideal, but in the customer runbooks and architecture documents, because there is no other place that we can put it right now. But Josh, if you want to expand on that.
Sure. Yeah. So we don't have docs public yet, aside from the direction page and the subscription page. The MR in 2D is the draft MR that I was thinking we would merge once we have merged the POC. Then folks can kick the tires, because right now it's not really available at all. So that's what I was waiting on, Sid. But then as far as our documentation, we have the issue templates, which is used to onboard customers, which we can add the BYOK details to as well. But we don't yet have like a doc site for dedicated for all like private link, how that works and things of that nature. So I do have an issue proposal out. I linked it there to the team. Andrew's on board. I think it's just a matter of getting time to work on this, given all the other priorities of the FedRAMP going on right now. But the idea was to start copying over the key documentation pages and creating a doc site without blocking on making the whole project public, which involves security reviews and making sure we're not mentioning confidential information and issues and things like that.
So I'm just worried because I see Hussein's merge request. It's now up to 79 files or something like that. I'm used to like continually merging things instead of just adding and adding. Or is that just the work of this week?
That's
1 week.
Part of it. I got like almost a week, more than a week, but the whole thing.
No more than a week. Okay, thanks.
But the MR is a big chunk of features, and its review is going to be a real challenge, especially the major reviewers of this feature are going to start to go on leave. So we have a very limited window. I will be on leave starting 28th of December for a long time. So handing over and reviewing this and getting some feedback on the MR is a challenge at the moment. And I think this is my first priority to ensure that at least someone in the dedicated team has a full visibility and awareness about the details of the implementation and the documentation, customer documentation and runbooks, to make sure that the work continues even when I'm not around. So this is something that I would like to get in touch with Craig and some other folks in dedicated team.
Thank you.
That's going to be the next thing on my plate. But yeah, totally agree. That's a huge MR.
Did we already get something merged? Is this the second MR or is this the first time we're...
No, this is the first one. This is the second iteration of the POC, which was turned into the implementation.
Okay, yeah. So then finding a person who's willing to review this week with you is number one, and you should probably also spend some time with a person. Don't rely on an async back and forth and run out of time before it's done.
So we are in luck in that regard because we have Craig. He is in New Zealand, so our time zone overlap is very manageable. He is available until towards almost end of next week. So we have good time, and he is the one that wrote the blueprint, so he has a full context of the thing. So I think we are in a good shape for that. I just need to work. We need to work closely with each other.
Yeah, looking forward to the live stream.
Thanks. So I think we have already covered part of the next step for the review. And the next step is documentation and runbooks. So we have, as I mentioned, this isn't ideal, but again, at this stage, we need to implement a runbook because this particular feature requires some work from, some additional work from the customer to develop, to create the keys and also define the policies in the right way that we can consume.
Makes sense.
So last but not least is user acceptance testing, which I think so far it has been a solo adventure, but for user acceptance testing and integration testing, I also need some assistance, and it requires the support of the team to be able to test this thoroughly. This might not seem that difficult, but in fact it is. It's too much work to set up the environment properly to be able to test this thoroughly.
So how we're feeling about promising this to our customer? It's an alpha. Alpha means you can lose data. What's required to get it to beta?
Definitely, user acceptance testing is the next step, and key rotation, testing key rotation. If I see the results from key rotation, I would be very confident, because that's the only question mark that I have.
Okay, so that's 3C, validate key rotation. Can you talk me through what you're going to do to do that?
Yes. To imitate the key rotation, what I am going to do, because we have the tooling, it is easy to create environments and break it. So the cycle is going to be a lot faster. We can move faster and break things quicker. What we are going to do is to create customer keys, which the key material is managed by the customer, and then change the key material and see if we can recover all these steps. Backups, can we recover from backups? Can we restore S3 buckets? Actually, S3 is going to be interesting to see, because S3, when you change the key, it changes not everything, but after the event that key has changed. So the encryption changes after that. And every other service that we have, and see if we can recover from it. Because if key rotation turns out to be a problem, then you might have a serious issue promising this, because key rotation happens automatically on customer managed keys annually. And this is the default behavior of AWS. Excuse me.
Cool. Well, looking forward to that. Exciting. Do you when do you expect to be able to complete that and move it to beta? And if you don't know, you don't know. But
so technically, I can start doing it today, because we have the instance running, and I can start breaking it and recreate it. But I don't want to slack on documentation and handover. So I need to take care of those two as well. So I don't want to sacrifice key rotation testing for not documenting the code or not handing it over to the dedicated team. So we might finish something, but it's not going to be usable really.
yeah, I think you should. You're right. Like, rather get stuff merged than add more features to it.
Yeah.
Cool. Good stuff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sid. Thanks, Kurt. Thanks, Hussein. Awesome
Thank you.
progress.
Thank you, Vash.